Before I start, let me state a few questions to you. So we're going to do it in a show of hands. How many of you have smartphones, and how many of them use, how many do you use them every day? Just raise your hands if you use your smartphone every day. Okay, all right. How many of you are an active social network user? Right, so many hands. How many of you actually use those things in learning or teaching English? Wow, that's quite a lot, quite more than I expected it to be, but it's okay. It's quite good, because actually I personally started to learn English when I was just 3 years old, and neither of those things existed. There was just me and my elder sister, and her motivation for me was something like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles starts in 15 minutes. You know what it is, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so you know the tune, right? So she said, if you want to do your English quick, you're gonna miss this entrance sequence with your favorite tune. And, well, God is my witness, I wanted to see those ninjas. So I did my English as quickly and correctly as possible, just not to miss it. And my only tool, inspiration, and a friend in that was actually a book. Maybe some of those teachers who are just standing recognize it. It's English for Children by Valentina Sculte. Now times are different, as well as students who study English. Smart devices now a part and a parcel of modern life. We use them to interact to each other, to write texts, to take selfies, to do some shopping. But why don't we use them in teaching our students? I know that some of you might immediately show me some funny-looking apps from your phones that promise that if you learn 10 words a day, in 3 months' time you will be fluent in English. I would like to talk today about a serious problem which, according to recent statistics, touches more than, just listen, 68% of Ukrainian teachers. It's computer illiteracy. The old generation of teaching without those demonic machines. And people were doing this for centuries. So why should we do it now? Like everything works fine.
But at the same time, those teachers give their students a text with a sentence like this. I would like to tell you about my friendly and gay family. We all know that's a pure example of outdated language. But when student starts to laugh, the teacher has no idea why.
What about the new generation of teachers? Well, actually, to tell the truth, they simply don't care, because they usually say that the salaries of educator, teacher, or lecturer in Ukraine is so low that students must be just thankful for the fact that somebody has decided to speak other language to them and learn in this very way. And now I actually think, and maybe it's going to be a thought for you to consider, our task as teachers is not just to dive into vocabulary, but to swim in the ocean of language, and as a caring parent, bring some brain food to our students. And now I would like to show you a few things that might blow your students' minds in a very simple way. It might seem simple, but it's practical and it works. So let's get started. Imagine that you're standing in front of your class and saying something like, today we're gonna work with Twitter. And your student's gonna be like, what? Like no students' books, no workbooks, no writing? And then you will continue saying like, it's not going to be like a text about a story of a successful company and their achievement, But instead of that, we're going to learn some real-time grammar. Try to show them a pre-texted post that you did before, which might look like this. Was tired, had the worst day ever. They were lazy, didn't want to study, went back home and cried myself to sleep. Hashtag, am I doing this right? And all of you teachers now might identify all those grammar that is in this small post. I'm talking about transitive and intransitive verbs. I'm talking about different forms of adjectives. I'm talking about pre-texting and pre-writing something beforehand, and many more. Another example. Let's imagine that you have a project assignment for your high school students. It might be an opening secret for you, but when you're 16, it's not that much fun anymore to do a paper dolls and cut your old photographs and to put the faces of your family to make them look true. So for that case, you can use something like this to inspire them to do an Instagram story, to make photos of their family, and to write a short story about each of them. For example, now it's a photo of my family, which was taken a few years ago, and I'm proud to say that I'm the only boy in my family. I've got so many sisters, nieces, cousin sisters. Unfortunately, my mom is not on this photo because she decided to have her coffee than to take a selfie with us. But as I said it here, maybe next time. It might be more creative. It might be more interesting for them to interact with their phones for studying. Another topic, traveling or tourism. Ask your students to find the most picturesque place in their hometown and just to make a check-in there from their Facebook page, posting some photos and telling that this very place is the most awesome place in my hometown and you ought to visit it. For me, as I'm the representative of the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv, I was born and raised there. For me, it's obviously Maidan Nezalezhnosti. After that, after all that you have done, obviously you need to appraise your students in some way. So you can do something like asking them to make a meme with your face on it. And this meme, they will stick to the board and it's going to be there for a week. And pre-answering your questions, no, it's not going to be offensive, believe me. Because as all kids, they will just ask for more. That's why they will try to be as polite as possible. Also, I know that most of you are now, after all of these sessions, thinking something like, but changes are so hard. Like, I've been working with the same book for 20 years and I had some good achievements, so why should I change? Why should I change, and how difficult is it to change something which works even if we don't like it? Correct me if I'm wrong, but a few years ago, we have already changed something that we didn't like. Yes, and I want to have a round of applause for those people who did it, because they deserve it. If they done it, why can't we do our changes in our classrooms? Why can't we just build this bridge between our students and us with the help of smart device? And now I would like all of you to raise your hand and we'll try to do a symbolic click that will show that you are ready to upgrade yourself. You are ready to be the 21st century teacher. So please raise your hands. And in a count of three, let's do this click. 3, 2, 1. So my congrats to all of you. Now you one step closer to becoming the teacher of version 2.0. Thank you very much.